This movie is about finding the function you need by using the insert function dialog box and the function wizard, and we are going to use the VLOOKUP function in this demo. I have a worksheet with a list of company names and company stock ticker symbols that are traded on the NASDAQ and New York Stock Exchange. And we're going to use this data to build a VLOOKUP function in cell D6 and look up Dell Inc. to find out what the ticker symbol for Dell is. Before we do that, we're going to take a look at the insert function dialog box. The insert function dialog box can be pulled up in one of three ways. You can press the Shift F3 key. I'll close that. You can left click the insert function button on the formula bar. I'll close that again. Or you can go to the formulas tab and left click the insert function button on there. So we have the insert function dialog box. If we know what the function name is that we're going to be using, we can find it because they are listed alphabetically here. We can find it that way. Or we can narrow our search down if we know what we're looking for is in a particular group. We can narrow our search down a bit by selecting the group where our function resides, and these groups are the same ones that are listed in the function library. Or we can type a brief description. I'll left click go, and we get a list of 5 functions: HLOOKUP, match, cell, lookup, and VLOOKUP. Well, we are going to use the VLOOKUP, and there it is, so I'll double click that, and I get the function wizard. The function wizard is a tool in Excel to help you build the function. D6 has the function loaded into it. The function wizard is displaying for us a list of the arguments, the first 3 being bolded because they are required arguments. The last one, range underscore lookup, is an optional argument. We have a description of the function itself below the list of arguments, and below that we have a description of the argument. In order to define the arguments, we can do it in a number of different ways. This is a reference button which we can close and left click on the cell that contains the value we want to look up. In this case it's C6. I'll explode this back out by left clicking the reference button again. We can also click within the field for the next argument, which is the table array, left click, arrow over once, and down arrow to select the table array. And we can also go to the next argument, input the argument's value directly by typing it into the field. At this point, we actually have a result listed in 2 places from the formula. The result that's displayed shows DELL. I'm going to left click OK, and sure enough, in D6, where we were building our function, we have a result of DELL, which is the ticker symbol for the company Dell Inc. So in this movie, we took a look at finding the function. We looked at the insert function dialog box, and there were 3 ways to get it. Shift F3, we had the insert function button on the formula bar and the insert function button on the formulas tab. Once we had the insert function dialog box, there were several ways where we could find the function we were looking for. We could put a phrase and actually have it do a search and display functions that match the keywords in that phrase, which is what we did. We can double click the function that we select to use. It'll load that function into the active cell and pull up the function wizard, which will display the arguments, both the required and optional arguments, and provide some functionality to define those arguments, where we could use the reference buttons, use the cursor to define the arguments, or we can type the argument's value directly into the field. Once the arguments that are required are completed, the function wizard will display the output of the function. We can then close the function wizard and complete the build of the function in our active cell.